Relationship advice. Update. My 48 female daughter 25 female slept with elder daughter's 27 female husband and is now facing harsh treatment. Original story. About 3 years ago, me and my husband 53 male had found out that my daughter Donna had an affair with our older daughter's, Marina's, husband, Leonard. It was especially infuriating because Marina had been violated a couple weeks prior. Marina was in a mess due to her ordeal, and after she found out that her husband had been messing with her sister, didn't help with her mental health. In short, she was constantly self-harming and would have panic attacks and or start crying randomly. What made it worse was that Marina kept blaming herself for what happened to her and her husband's infidelity. We've put her in therapy, and she's been doing a lot better, thank God. On the other hand, when I went to confront Dawn about this mess, she just said that she was attending to Marina's husband because she was refusing intimacy in a really condescending way. I was so mad that I wanted to put my hands on her. How could she say that after such a horrible thing happened? I straight up told her that until Marina's comfortable enough, she shouldn't contact me. She started screaming, but I was over it. After Marina and Leonard divorced, him and Donna ended up engaged. My son Josiah told me this and wanted me and my husband to come to the wedding/engagement party. I was appalled that she had the audacity to ask me that kind of question, and I declined. I told her that I loved her, but I simply cannot be with her and give her my blessings as she said horrible things and hasn't apologized. Told her and Leonard that my husband was on the same boat, and warned her that if Leonard cheated with her, then it won't be out of the question that he will cheat on her. Fast forward to the present. Donna was banging on my door pleading for me to let her in. She had a tear-streamed face holding a baby and a toddler, so I let her in. She was crying while saying how Leonard had been emotionally and verbally mistreating her, and also had a side family. She didn't want to stay in the house with him any longer and wants out. This is a hard situation for me as both daughters aren't doing so well. But as much as I hate to say it, one brought it on herself. Can anyone give help in such a situation? Please help me. Now for the top advice before reading the update. If Marina lives with you, Donna can't. Full stop. Yes, Donna is in a bad situation now, but that doesn't change the fact that she cheerfully hurt her sister a few years ago without apologizing. You can't even let Donna stay with you if she apologizes at this point, because you wouldn't be able to trust that apology was sincere. Help her contact your nearest women's shelter/organization and a divorce lawyer. If you can help her out a bit more, then you can offer to get her a hotel room for a month or so. But she has to get her own bank account and job, if she doesn't have them already, to support herself and her kids. Once you've done that, do let Marina know that you're helping Donna out, but not having her live with you. You don't want to blindside Marina if she runs into Donna. If Marina says, "Why did you send her to a shelter/hotel?" Stick her in the spare room. Without any prompting or requests from you or Donna, then you can consider letting her stay for a bit. If you want to live with Donna and her kids, it's okay for you to decide that you don't want them in your house under any circumstances. The without any prompting or requests from you here is really important. Marina's dealt a lot with misguided guilt. She doesn't need to be put in a hard position of deciding whether her sister is going to get help or not from the family. She might feel the need to say yes, even if she doesn't want to. And if she says no when asked, then Donna could use that as a weapon against her and hurt her emotionally. Your daughter is facing the consequences, and if you let her stay, you will lose the innocent victim daughter. Choose wisely. Exactly. Marina has been through enough. Take in the kids or Donna can go to a shelter. While I am still upset about what Donna has put Marina into, I don't want to separate her from the kids yet. And I still want to be grandparent. That being said, I don't want Marina to have a relapse. Another thing is Marina really wanted kids, and I'm not sure how she'll react seeing her nephews. While I don't feel equipped to give you any advice on this, I do want to say I'm sorry that you're in this position at all. It must be awful. I hope it works out and you can come to a solution. I can't even begin to imagine how hard this situation must be for basically everyone in the story. How does your husband and Marina feel about her coming back? I think this is one of those situations that no one on the internet can answer. Good luck, Opie. My husband is at loss as well. I really do love Donna, and I hate seeing her like this. However, I don't want to do anything that may hurt Marina in any way, shape, or form because of the hurt her sister put her into. But Donna has innocent kids that didn't do anything, and I still want to be grandparent to them. And now for the update. Thank you for the kind advice everyone has given me so far. It means a lot. I haven't been able to post lately because of everything that has been happening with my 2 girls. So here's an update for those who have asked. I followed your advice and sat Marina down and talked about Donna's request and the possibility of taking her in, or at the very least her children. Marina looked like she was going to burst into tears and cried, saying we were choosing to help Donna over her. I realized that I was so caught up in having my happy family and being a grandparent that I was neglecting the person who was hurting the most in this situation. Me and my husband apologized for overlooking Marina's feelings and assured her that Donna was not going to be staying with us. Our relationship has been strained a bit, and I admit I was rather selfish, and looking at everything with rose-tinted glasses is hurting me and my daughter's relationship. Since Donna nor her kids would be staying with us, I phoned my relatives to see if anyone would take her in. None of them would, because they are disgusted by how Donna treated Marina during a traumatic event. Most of them were angry at me for suggesting such a thing after what happened, and told me that this was retribution for her actions. I then phoned Donna telling her that while I care about her, she cannot stay at my place because I need to tend to Marina's needs, and to ensure her mental health doesn't get any worse. My husband and I are going to find her a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, but she will need to work for the rent, /food, /utilities, etc., and we have a divorce lawyer just in case. Donna asked why she just can't stay at my place, and I told her that staying with us will just cause Marina unnecessary stress and could increase her mental health issues. I also told her that she has to act like an adult and get a job. Donna said that she hasn't had a job in years, and she'll need somewhere to get back on her feet rent-free. I told her that I could pay for the first month's rent, but I will not be taking her in. She tried to switch gears and use her kids, but my husband said that he can pay for the daycare until she gets a job. She started to scream at us and say some very nasty words to not only us, but Marina. Donna said that Marina needs to get over herself, and she has more needs than Marina. My husband snapped and screamed at her back, saying that if she had helped her sister instead of sleeping with her husband, this wouldn't have happened, and she has no one to blame but herself. I honestly don't know where I went wrong in raising Donna for her to act and say words like this. It's very disappointing. It sounds like Donna is way overdue for a reality check, daughter or not. Helping her with the apartment and daycare until she gets a job is the best way to help her be more independent, as it sounds like she's codependent to some degree. One thing is that you 100% need to give her a deadline on getting a job, so that she doesn't take advantage of the help. Yes, OP pays the landlord directly for 1 month's rent, and pays the daycare directly for 1 month's childcare. Then make it clear to Donna that that's all the help she's getting. Yeah, and I only suggest that to OP because of the grandchild. Otherwise, she does not deserve any help from OP or anyone. Donna did a horrible thing, and continues to do horrible things by using them for money, and has zero remorse. Honestly, Opie would probably be doing her more of a service by letting her deal with her own mess, so that she can learn the consequences of her actions. Holy hell, is Donna entitled. She really sounds like a human piece of garbage. So, she treats everyone like dirt, and still expects people to bend over backwards to take care of her? Nice. If it wasn't for the grandkids, I would say cut her out of your life and face the consequences of her actions. Even then, you could offer to take the grandkids in, but make her be on her own. Yep, but even after her horrible response in the end, they will be manipulated by her having kids, and still will be subsidizing Donna's existence probably for way longer than just 1 month. The fact that Opie even entertained the idea of letting Donna crash Marina's space tells me Donna is going to have them by the strings for quite a while. To the people who are defending Donna in the previous post and this one, unclench your a-hole so you can breathe some fresh air amid the BS. I honestly don't know where I went wrong in raising Donna. It could be favoritism towards Donna that shaped her entitlement. You don't see because sometimes that rose-tinted view is really tinted. Edited to add, the poster is saying Marina needs to get over it because it's been 3 years. You'd benefit from some life experience. Golden Child Syndrome. Thank God her husband and relatives spoke up on Marina's behalf, because OP certainly was ignoring all of us who said to cut her off. Literally, my comment on her last update was like, Marina is going to be upset and not trust you if you even suggest Donna moving in. What does she do? Suggest this woman move back in. OP needs to look in the mirror to see where she went wrong. Good lord. Now for the last story. My mother wants me and my siblings to forgive our older brother for stealing our other brother's fiancée. My family consists of my oldest brother, Mike, 29, my older sister Anne, 26, my other brother Luke, 25, and me as the youngest, 22 female. Growing up, our parents always taught us to stand together, and that when they were dead and gone, we would only have each other. If one person snitched on a sibling, they'd punish both siblings, the troublemaker and the tattletale. This made us bond really closely, and we heavily valued loyalty. A few years ago, Luke began dating this girl who seemed like a soulmate. They seemed like they'd known each other for years, and it was so cute. He proposed to her and we were all excited because he was gonna be the first sibling to get married. About a year into the proposal, Luke confided in me, we'd always been closest to each other than the other siblings, that Mike and his fiancée's relationship seemed a little too close. He felt awful that he didn't trust her, and tried his best to deny that his brother would betray him like that. After I mentioned it, whenever I'd bring her around the family, I began noticing the behaviors. The flirtatious side-eyeing, the little more than friendly banter, and even the fact that their hugs seemed to be very intimate. I tried to chalk it up as me being paranoid and seeing it only because it was mentioned. Well, things finally hit the fan when she dumped Luke and confessed her love for Mike, and admitted that she'd been cheating on him and that they were in love. She moved out of his house and moved in with Mike. This was about a year and a half ago and they are now engaged. The night everything happened, Luke showed up to my house completely destroyed. He'd been bawling his eyes out. He said some pretty dark things. How he had no purpose, how he'd never live up to Mike, and how the world would go on without him, etc. To add some context, Mike was the cliché jock older brother. Athlete, good-looking, always had girls, and got good grades. Luke always felt like he had to compete with him to get the same attention. Anne and I were girls, so we received our own separate attention. He works out a lot and is in great shape, is tall, and works very hard to subconsciously beat him. To see this big, tough guy break down like that broke my heart, and we cried together and talked a lot. We also called Anne over, and she made his favorite meal for him while in complete shock. The next morning, while Luke was still asleep, Anne and I drove over to Mike's house and absolutely ripped into him. We both had our choice words and left before he could even say anything. Our parents are divorced now, and our dad hasn't been in contact with Mike. He's a very traditional man and puts emphasis on loyalty and brotherly love. He was absolutely furious, and apparently he called Mike and screamed at him. Neither me nor my father and siblings have been in contact with Mike. Luke has declined any of Mike's attempts to apologize and reconcile. Our mother, though, has forgiven him due to him being mama's boy and also being the firstborn son. She actively hangs out with him and urges me and Anne to forgive him and start a relationship with them, which we adamantly refuse. She's also attempted to trick Luke into seeing Mike. This has also hurt Luke, and he no longer contacts our mom, to her dismay. Now, Mike and Luke's ex are engaged and the wedding is set. He's invited all of his siblings and our dad, but we all refuse. Our mom is begging us to be there for him, and in the nicest way possible, try to tell us to get Luke to get over it. She misses her family, and she wants things to normal. When she told Anne that, Anne told her that Mike and his new wife-to-be can be her new happy family. Am I wrong for still being angry at Mike? Is it any of my business? Sometimes I feel like it isn't, but seeing Luke absolutely broken has burned into my brain, and any thoughts of Mike and his soon-to-be wife fills me with anger. Now for the top comments. No, you are fantastic for sticking by your brother. What your other brother did is basically one of the worst things you can do to a sibling, on top of him always having had to compete with his older brother already. Thank you so much for sticking by your brother. You, your sister, and father are fantastic for that. Too many times other family members just forgive and forget, and then get mad at the sibling who is harmed by the actions. I don't have words for the heartbreak that Luke must feel from all this. The deep yawning pit that opened up in his chest when his brother and fiancé did that to him. And again, every time his mother chooses Mike. He must hurt so badly. And make no mistake, what Mike did is unforgivable. Anyone who would try to say any different about this situation is sending a clear signal to Luke how little they value him. I'm so happy for Luke to have at least some family, his sisters and his father, who still love and care for him. If it were me, and my family all got buddy-buddy with Mike and my ex, and try to get me to forgive and be one big happy family again, I think I would cut ties with a lot of them. Move states away, act like I don't have a family, burn bridges, and never talk to them again. If I didn't add myself first. And honestly, if I had to choose a brother and a choice was between Luke and Mike, it's no contest. Mike has shown that he would stab me in the back if he would gain something he wants by doing so, and he would later tell me to get over it. Who would want that in their life? No one owes Mike a happy wedding day. Let Mike enjoy his new family with the girl and her relatives, because he turned his back on the family that raised him the day he chose the girl over his brother. Screw that. Don't give your loyalty to someone that isn't capable of giving it in return. It's one thing if Luke's fiancée left him and later got together with Mike, but she was cheating on him while they were still together. Mike knew this was a massive betrayal and didn't care. He chose himself over the rest of the family. Frankly, by trying to force the family back together, your mother is betraying the family as well, putting her own desire to have a happy family over anyone else's feelings. Mike earned his way out of your life. If you let him back in, the only lesson he'll learn is that loyalty is a one-way street. That requires nothing of him. Let your mother know that while you might not resent her for keeping contact with Mike, I don't know if you would or not, but I would. She will absolutely lose the rest of you if she keeps trying to get you all to sweep it under the rug. If I were in your shoes, the next time I talked to Mike would be at someone's funeral, and I would never say a single word to his new girl ever again. I don't particularly resent her for forgiving him. She's his mother, carried him for 9 months and birthed him, so I don't see it as weird for her to forgive him. But I do agree it's incredibly crappy to try to make us forgive him and try to get Luke to talk to him when he's not ready. Wow. Just wow. Fiancé equals horrible human being. Mike equals terrible brother. Mom? What the hell is wrong with this woman? You, your sister, and your dad, now that's family loyalty. And how families should treat each other. Keep doing exactly what you're doing, and don't give the selfish, cruel, entitled people an inch. Think about how they'd treat you given the same circumstances. Would you want them to continue to stand by you? Of course you would. Keep doing what you're doing because you have it right. Thank God he has you guys. Cut them out. None of them value loyalty and family. Your family is your dad, Anne and Luke. If you can't trust your family, then who can you rely on? This is what I try to tell my mom. Especially since, this is what they taught us.
Am I the a-hole for cutting contact with my childhood best friend because she demanded that I break up with my fiancé? I, 21 female, cut contact with one of my closest childhood friends, Mary, 21 female, a few weeks ago. While I feel relieved she's out of my life, most of my family and mutual friends think I overreacted. And now I'm starting to second-guess my decision. I'm going to include some background information here. Mary and I practically grew up as sisters. We were neighbors, and our parents started arranging play dates for us before we could even walk. From kindergarten to secondary school, we did everything together. If I wasn't at her house, she was at mine. I trusted her completely and never thought of her as anything other than my best friend. Things changed when Mary moved away for university. At first, I missed her, but over time, I noticed how much easier my life felt without her constant presence. I wasn't being criticized, guilt-tripped, or forced to justify my choices anymore. It became clear how much control she had over me. Mary had a way of dominating every aspect of my life. She dismissed my hobbies and pressured me to quit them, and if she didn't like one of my friends, I'd have to cut ties. You could call me a pushover, but when you grow up with someone like that, it's hard to see the manipulation for what it is. Things really came to a head when I met my now fiancé Dave, 27 male. He's amazing, kind, supportive, and everything I've ever wanted in a partner. We clicked instantly, and he's honestly the best thing that's ever happened to me. But of course, Mary didn't approve. She immediately tried to plant seed of doubt, saying he was too old, he'd cheat, or he was only using me. Thankfully, once I didn't listen to her, and I'm so glad I didn't. In December, Dave surprised me with a dream vacation, and during the trip, he proposed. Everything about it was perfect. He planned every little detail, and it was more magical than I could have ever imagined. I was over the moon and couldn't wait to share the news with everyone. Naturally, I told Mary, expecting at least some excitement, but instead, she downplayed the entire thing. She nitpicked the proposal, saying how she would have done it differently and what could have been better. It stung, but I brushed it off and reminded her that it was my proposal, not hers. A few weeks later, we met in person for the first time in months. That's when things completely fell apart. Out of nowhere, Mary told me I should break up with Dave. When I asked why, her reasoning had nothing to do with me. Instead, she compared him to her boyfriend Julian, 22 male, saying things like, Dave makes more money than Julian, and Dave can give you everything, while I have to work for what I want. It was clear she wasn't concerned about me. She was just jealous. She couldn't handle the fact that for once, my life seemed better than hers. That was the breaking point for me. I told her to leave my house, and afterward, I sent her a long message explaining how hurt and disappointed I was. I told her that her behavior was unacceptable, and that I didn't want her to contact me again. Since then, it feels like she's told everyone in our social circle. Mutual friends and even some family members have reached out, saying I was too harsh and should have handled things differently. They said, that's just how Mary is. You've known her your whole life. She's always been in the spotlight and gotten what she wanted. Some even accused me of breaking her heart and said it was wrong to choose my fiancé over a lifelong friend. Even my mom said she expected better of me, and that's what's making me question my decision. Did I overreact? Mary has been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. Sure, she has her flaws, but we've also shared countless good times and memories. Am I throwing away years of friendship over this? Should I try to fix things? Or was cutting her off the right choice? For clarification, I don't know exactly what Mary told my friends and family, since most of the messages I received were pretty vague. I also didn't ask my mom what Mary said happened. I was too angry to have a calm conversation after my mom told me I was being dramatic, which led to me yelling at her. All I know is that Mary admitted to asking me to break up with my fiancé, but I don't know if she explained why she wanted me to. Lastly, my parents raised Mary like a second daughter, and she's always been incredibly kind in front of them. I guess that's why they didn't believe me. Maybe they're just in denial because it's easier for them to handle. I don't know. But I get it. Hearing something bad about someone you like for the first time can make you want to deny it. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I cut ties with a friend a couple years ago that I now recognize as a narcissist. I've found out so much since breaking ties with her. Was it hard for you as well to cut her off? Because honestly, while I'm happy that she's gone, I'm also kind of sad. We've spent some amazing years together, and every memory I have of my childhood includes her. Have you discussed this with your fiancé? I mean, tell him everything like you did here and ask him what he thinks. He would give you an outsider's opinion since he hasn't known her as long as everyone else has. Also, I can guarantee she didn't tell everyone the true story. She told them whatever would make her look like the victim instead of you. You have a few options here. You can ask each person individually what she told them, or you can do group message explaining what actually happened. Either way, you need to get your side of the story out there. It might change a few opinions. My fiancé was the first person I talked to about this whole situation, and he was the one who suggested cutting contact with her in the first place. Bye, Felicia. That witch is toxic. You need women in your life who will lift you up, not push you down. Cut her off. No invitation to the wedding. I completely agree, and I'm not planning on inviting her or speaking to her ever again in general. But it's honestly so painful to think about her not being part of my wedding. I've known her forever, and all my childhood memories include her. We've talked about our potential weddings a lot and how great it would be to have each other as our maid of honor. Not the a-hole. It's really easy for everyone else to tell you to keep putting up with Mary's nonsense because they aren't the ones that have to deal with her. They want you to fall back in line so they don't have to deal with the tantrums she's throwing. She wants to steal your peace, like she's done your whole life. You are the only person who can protect it. Basically, everyone is telling OP to keep her happy for us, will you? She throws such a fit when she isn't happy. When she has you to push around, she demands less of us. It sounds like the parents started using OP to do this when they were kids. And I'm kind of worried about OP and her fiancé. If her whole family and friend group has been like this her whole life, it's a really hard habit to break in romantic relationships. My parents basically raised her and view her as a daughter. I guess their main issue with me cutting contact is that they won't get to see their second daughter as often anymore. Or at least not without me being mad at them. When I was younger, I never saw Mary's behavior as something bad. I don't know if my parents were aware of her pushing me in certain directions, since she's been incredibly kind to them all the time. And I didn't really say, hey, I quit gymnastics because Mary told me to. Next story. Am I the a-hole for using my sister's words against her and saying she should feel lucky to have her kids and to have all that time with them? I, 32 female, have been low contact with my sister Jade, 33 female, for almost 3 years now. I have fertility issues and have been unable to conceive naturally or with fertility medication. When Jade was pregnant with her third child, I had just ended my time on a fertility medication. At that time, I was upset to be at the end of another option in my fertility journey. Jade sent me a text a couple of days after I finished and bluntly asked if I was pregnant yet. The text came out of nowhere, and the tone felt very harsh. But we had been close, so I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt and told her, unfortunately, no. But it wasn't the end. She came over to my house later that day and told me she was pregnant again, her third child, and that I should quit making a big deal out of having kids, and just be grateful I get to spend time with her kids. She said she had been ready to announce her pregnancy the day I ended my time on the fertility medication. And then our mom asked me about it in the family group chat, which includes the two of us and our parents. I told her I had no idea, and if she had wanted to announce, I wouldn't have blamed her. She said I might not have, that everyone would have thought she was selfish and insensitive. She told me I should just accept that I'm meant to be a babysitter, not a mother. She said I should feel lucky for what I have, embrace it, and be more useful to her. My husband and I babysat a lot for Jade and her husband. I was also her second birthing partner for her first 2 kids because her husband isn't the best in medical situations. It hurt me to hear Jade talk like that, but I didn't want to think the worst of her, so I asked her if she was okay and if anything was wrong. She made it clear that she really didn't care about me and saw me as a useful tool, babysitter, instead of a person who had her own stuff going on. She even told me she was glad my fertility treatments had failed because I could give up and focus on her kids. At that point, I pulled way back, and we're no longer close in any kind of way. Jade was surprised at first and then told me I was just selfish and trying to be something I wasn't meant to be, a mom. My parents were upset with what Jade said and asked her to apologize to me, but she never has. She defended her stance, saying I could be of better use. When our parents told her it was wrong to talk to me like that, she said it was fine and that I was never that great of a babysitter anyway, so they're better off without me. My husband and I are still trying to conceive, but we're also focusing on staying mentally healthy through it all. I prioritized therapy for a while after the breakdown in my relationship with Jade. A few days ago, Jade texted me and asked me to babysit her 4 kids. 2 were in school, so I need to pick them up after school, and the other 2 I was supposed to have all day. She said she had some kind of doctor's appointment, and our parents said no. I replied with a simple no. She texted back saying I needed to do this because she couldn't bring her kids to the hospital with her. I repeated my response of no and left it there. She told me I needed to freaking step up, that she'd already had to reschedule a few times because she had a kid so much and she couldn't bring them with her. Where I might be the a-hole is that I sent a longer reply this time, telling her she should feel lucky to have her kids and be grateful for all the time she gets to spend with them, using her own words against her after 3 years. Jade went nuts after that, but I ignored every text and didn't read most of them. She told me it wasn't the time and that a hospital appointment is a big deal. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Jade can pound sand. I am petty and an a-hole, and here is what OP should do. Refuse to babysit for the next 12 months and let Jade enjoy the full benefits of parenthood. Also, I love how OP simply replied, no. Such a complete answer. Not the a-hole OP. Not the a-hole. She hasn't been empathetic or considerate during your fertility struggles. She has belittled and insulted you, undermined you, yet still expects you to bend over backward for her when it comes to babysitting duties. You don't owe her anything, and you deserve to focus on yourself and starting a family. Stick to your boundaries and don't allow your mother or anyone else to guilt you into doing things you don't want to do. Plus, if you were never that good of a babysitter anyway, she should find someone who is. I wanted to say that to her actually, but then I also knew I shouldn't engage too much either because she already had my answer. I'd be so petty I would screenshot her messages back to her after a couple of days as she needs some serious education about herself. If it's possible, but some people are just oblivious. I'd say, are you quite well? You told me I wasn't good enough, remember? Stuff over text is easily ignored. So I'd put it in actual writing exactly why you are low contact and happier for it. Good for you, OP. Do yourself a favor and just block her. I feel sorry for your nieces and nephews growing up with a mother like her. Best of luck on your fertility journey. Not the a-hole. It's something I'm considering after this. The fact she reaches out to me directly for the first time in years, and it's to ask for more free babysitting. It tells me there is no room for growth and change, and I could be better off blocking her. There's some guilt about it on my end that I'll bring up with my therapist. Last story. Am I the a-hole for blocking my step-siblings and my dad's wife while I'm at my mom's house? My parents broke up when I, 17 male, was 4. My dad got married when I was 6 and divorced her when I was 9. He had a son with his first wife. My parents were never married. My half-brother is 9. I don't remember the last time I saw him. His mom moved out of state with him years ago. My dad remarried when I was 11 and his wife already had 3 kids. My step-siblings are 15, 13, and 12. To cut to the chase, I don't really like my dad. I don't think he's a very good dad. His wife is annoying, and I hate having to be around her. She seems to think that marrying my dad gave her the authority to mold me into one of her kids. She goes to church and has tried to drag me with her and her kids, make me read the Bible, and embrace her religion. She even called my mom a bad parent for sending me to public school. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that, and I just can't stand her. My step-siblings aren't bad, but I don't see my dad marrying their mom as enough to make them my siblings. Especially when my dad is a pretty bad dad overall, and their mom is so annoying that I'd like to yeet her into space. They also annoy me when they try to make me responsible for them and go to their mom, who then insists that I take them places when I'm with my dad. This got worse after my mom got me a car and I started driving. Their expectations of what I do went way up. A few months ago, my mom took my dad back to court to change the custody agreement. The judge ruled that I only need to spend 8 days a month with my dad. That could be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday twice a month, or each weekend. I chose the TFSS option because I want weekends not spent with them. I'm not allowed to block my dad on my phone. I can't mute him or ignore calls/texts from him according to the judge. However, I do block his wife and stepkids. Last weekend, my stepsister, 15, was trying to call me while I was at my mom's, but I didn't know because she was blocked. She had been somewhere with friends, and they abandoned her. It was getting late too. She ended up calling her mom after trying to reach me for ages, saying she called me because I was closer. When they got back, they told my dad. I don't know if he didn't care or just let his wife handle it, but she called me from his phone and yelled at me for ignoring the calls. My dad called me a couple of days later and asked why I didn't answer. I said I had no idea she'd called. He asked how, and I just said I didn't know. When I went to my dad's on Thursday, his wife took my phone from my hand and saw that I didn't get the calls. They figured out that I'd blocked her during my mom's parenting time. Then they realized the reason I never reply to my dad's wife for my step-siblings while I'm at my mom's is because I have them all blocked. I'm so glad I get to go home later today, but it's been tough here. My dad's wife has been berating me for being a crappy older brother to her kids. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You don't have any responsibility to your dad's wife's kids. I shouldn't, but they give it to me when I'm there. It's why I'm glad I spend less time over there now. Not the a-hole. I tell her and your dad, your kids are not my responsibility. I didn't choose to have them in my life. I didn't choose to have you in my life. I didn't even choose to have my own father in my life. If I had a choice, none of you would be in my life. Let's make that very clear. The judge ordered me to be here 8 days a month, so I'm here. That's all you're getting from me. Don't ask for more. You're almost 18. This will just tell them that you're going no contact when you're 18 and not to be surprised. No, you're not the a-hole. It isn't your responsibility to respond to them. It shouldn't be, but at their house, they make me be responsible for them. I hate it, honestly, and especially when I'm running to pick them up like they should be. Not the a-hole. You're not a crappy older brother because you're not their older brother. You go there to see your dad. That's the way it's supposed to be. I prefer it way more if I didn't go at all, but only a few more months and then I'm done.
First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for saying I no longer trust my brother or his wife around my kid? Okay, so you'll need some context here first. I am a single father to a 5-year-old son and his mother isn't involved. She was incredibly manipulative and verbally/emotionally abusive. For a few reasons, the courts awarded me full custody of our kid. She was allowed visitation, but basically said I get full custody or nothing at all, and hasn't made any attempt to contact our son for 3.5 years. To be honest, I prefer it this way. She's a very toxic person who has repeatedly demonstrated an unwillingness to change, and she runs with some people who don't want my son around. If she comes back and demonstrates a willingness to put effort to be better to our son, she can see him. But till then, I'm very on board with her staying away. I've found being a single parent difficult at times and have needed a lot of help/support. This help has often been provided by my older brother and sister-in-law. They've done things like taking me to appointments, cared for kiddo while I worked/went back to school, helped with the bills/groceries when I was on my butt financially, paid for kiddo to do activities I couldn't afford with his friends to keep him from being left out. They've honestly been an absolute lifeline for me, and I just want to establish off the bat that I am incredibly grateful for all they've done for me. During lockdown 3, brother and sister-in-law have been watching kiddo while I work. They're both working from home, and they have absolutely refused to let me pay them for it. Well, during this time, my son has been asking more and more questions about his mom, which I've done my best to answer in age-appropriate ways. He's also been getting upset about her not being around more and more. It really sprang out of nowhere. So I was confused until a few days ago when he said Auntie Laura kept telling him things about Mommy, and they were different to things I had told him. I asked what kind of things she said, and I'll spare you the details for the sake of character count. Can clarify in comments, but it was incredibly inappropriate stuff. I'm so angry about this. My kid is upset, and I'm in a very awkward position. My sister-in-law went behind my back. I confronted her and my brother about it, and they both got very defensive, saying I can't expect her to badmouth her friend, and I'm being unreasonable. I said that it's not unreasonable to want to protect my kid, and that they've demonstrated that I can't trust them around him. I've even stopped letting them watch him, and my neighbor's doing it instead. They're really upset with me. My brother called me an ungrateful a-hole, and my sister-in-law says she can't believe I'm being like this over one little thing after all they've done. Am I overreacting? Edit. realizes I deleted a kind of important points for character count. My ex and sister-in-law were friends at secondary school and college, which is how my ex and I met. They're not as close as they used to be, but they're still casual friends. Edit 2. People said I should include this from the comments on the post, so here it is. My ex made a lot of accusations about me that were provable false during the trial, part of the reason she didn't get custody. This includes accusing me of being a serial cheater. I wasn't, and could prove I was in other places at times when she said I was with other people. Accusing me of causing an injury she got in a car accident I wasn't even present for, and saying that I was the one who was emotionally abusive. She told him that the reason his mom and I fell out was because I felt like she was very unkind to me, and mommy felt like I had other girlfriends, hurt her, and was the unkind one. She didn't say any of the accusations were true, but she didn't say they weren't either. And obviously, a 5-year-old doesn't have the critical thinking skills to figure it out for himself. Not so much that she lied to herself, she just repeated my ex's lies. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Your ex was so horrible that the courts didn't give her any custody. Hard to badmouth such a person. Sister-in-law placed her need to talk up her friend above the needs of a child that was clearly becoming more upset and anxious the more she talked. You're doing what it takes to protect your child, Opie. Clearly, sister-in-law wants to protect someone else. And even if sister-in-law somehow thought the friend was different, she still hasn't seen her own child for nearly 4 years of her own volition. She's a horrible parent for that, at a minimum. I wouldn't trust either of them around my hypothetical child. Not a-hole. Tell your brother this. I am grateful for everything you have done for myself and my son, but gratitude is not the same as obligation. My only obligations are to my child, and that includes being obligated to not leave him alone with someone who lies to him about me and upsets him, no matter what they have done for us. Sister-in-law did not have to say anything about ex, neither good nor bad. She could have said nothing, because it wasn't her place to talk about our relationship to my son, and the fact that she has gotten defensive and wants to act like this is no big deal leads me to believe she would do it again. I'm sorry that it has come to this, but my son's well-being comes ahead of anyone else's feelings. Period. Edited to add, just wanted to throw it out there since this comment has gotten some attention, that I don't think it's probably necessary to never let your kid see his aunt and uncle again, and maybe stress that to your brother too. It sounds like he loves your son a lot, and it would be a shame for this to cause a bigger rift than it needs to. You can't set boundaries without cutting them out of your lives. No unsupervised visits would be totally reasonable at this point. Not a-hole. Your sister-in-law and brother sound like are overriding your great parenting. The courts decided that you're a fit parent and your ex is not. They do not get to override that decision. Also, I would not be surprised if that's why they're so willing and ready to be in this kid's life. Is she feeding information about the son to the ex? I know she hasn't seen him because I'm sure the son would tell. Tinfoil hat theory. If she's really super toxic, could she be using all of this to build a case to get some sort of custody? I don't know if she's changed her mind and now wants to see her son. Saying that other people are the primary caregivers paying for stuff and activities could be a way to prove he isn't fit. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not taking my son to my mother after I found out she has been going through my kid's phone? So, a bit of context. I, 36 female, have never been close to my mother. She was verbally and emotionally abusive, constantly disregarded my privacy and got mad at everything I did. When she found out I was a bi at the age of 17 by reading my messages, she kicked me out. I went no contact for quite a while until I had my son, now 15 male. It took some convincing from my sister and aunt, but I decided to let my mom see her grandson. I don't really talk to her, because I can't forgive everything she put me through, but she's a great grandmother and my son and her get along very well. On to the story. I was working late, so I left my son to my mom and took off. When I came back to pick him up, I saw that woman going through my son's phone while he was upstairs watching TV. I started screaming and asking what she was doing. She said that she was parenting my own kid, and said that she was being responsible for making sure he doesn't end up like me. I take the phone away from her in an instant and take my son so we can leave. Later that night, after my son was sleeping, I called my mother, screaming at her and saying that she had no right to go through his private stuff, or to tell me how to mother my own child. She got angrier and said I was ungrateful and that she was only trying to help. However, I think I might also be the a-hole because I am refusing to take my son to my mother right now, and I don't know if that's the right decision. By the way, I did talk to my son about this one specific incident, and he also is okay with not going to his grandma. He just doesn't know the story behind me and my mom. Not an a-hole, but at 15, I think your son should know some of the background. He should know what she is like. Couldn't Opie's son also stay on his own instead of being watched? Not an a-hole. All I really needed to read was, she was verbally and emotionally abusive. If your mother was abusive to you, that was more than enough to deny her contact with your child. But you gave her a chance anyway. What she did shows she didn't change at all. It's best that you keep her away from your son. All of this, I know what my mother and aunts did to me as a kid, but it was only 3 to 4 years after we cut contact with them did my kids finally feel safe to tell my husband and I things that happened to them growing up with those evil women. I was angry, heartbroken, and felt so guilty. I wish I knew way earlier to stop it. If your parent was abusive to you, they definitely are to your kids when your back is turned. Not an a-hole. She violated his privacy. Does he know what she did? He needs to know if he doesn't. Yes, we talked, but I only mentioned her going through his phone. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kidnapping my brother? I, 26 female, have a tense relationship with my parents. I would have gone no contact with them if it weren't for my little brother, Pete. Pete loves singing, to the great disapproval of our parents. They hate that Pete chose singing instead of more manly hobbies. Despite their disapproval, I always encouraged his passion. I even got him a vocal course for his birthday a couple years ago. After a huge argument, parents let him attend a course. So, to the AITA situation. For Valentine's Day, Brother School organized a love song competition. Students that wanted to take part had to submit a recording of themselves singing. Every video is then published on school's Facebook page. Pete decided to take part in the competition. He sang a Sally song from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And since my fiancé is a photographer and has his own studio, Pete asked for his help filming the video. Fiancé agreed. Pete came over, his part of our bubble, so to speak. Fiancé even helped him edit in some cool visual effects. Everything seemed to be fine, until yesterday. Pete showed up at my doorsteps in tears. I took him in, and after he calmed down, he told me what happened. From what I gathered, our parents saw the video of him singing on Facebook and absolutely blew up. He said that they were screaming like crazy, called him an embarrassment, and forbid him from attending any more singing lessons that he's been paying for from his own money. After they told him to get out of their sight, he gathered some essentials and walked out. Then he took a cab to my place. Pete asked to stay with me, and I naturally told him that he can stay as long as he wants. Our parents must have figured where Pete is when he didn't return in the evening because they called me. They were angry I helped with the video, said they know he's here and were demanding to speak with him. I didn't know what to say, so I played dumb. Didn't deny nor confirm my brother being here. They threatened to call the police on me for kidnapping, and at that point, I hung up and have been ignoring their calls ever since. They must have contacted some of the family because I've been getting many texts with people telling me to bring my brother back home, that he's just a rebelling teenager, cussing me out, even threatening to call police. Pete is 17, will be 18 in 2 weeks. He doesn't want to go back to our parents. I need to stay calm for my brother's sake, but it's so hard with people threatening me with calling police for kidnapping. I tried talking to Pete, told him that he doesn't have to do anything he isn't comfortable with, but that maybe he should talk to our parents. He says maybe, but not yet. Right now, he hates them and everyone on their side. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for kidnapping my brother? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Get him call the police and let them know what's happening, given the fact that he's 2 weeks shy of being a legal adult. That way, when your parents report the kidnapping, the police will already have prior knowledge of what's happened. I'd also be expecting for the crap to hit the fan big time too. Get the police to go with your brother and some of his or your friends to pick up his belongings. Most importantly, his birth certificate, social security number, passport, and bank details. First thing Monday morning, take him to the bank. close his account and withdraw his money, or do so now so your parents can take it. And open a new account at a different bank and lock down his credit so that no one can run up debts in his name. The reason I'm saying to ask for a police escort is so that they can't refuse him his legal documents and can't abuse him. Get him to speak to the guidance counselor at school for some advice. And I'd suggest as soon as he has all his belongings, get him into counseling and put his parents in timeout. Most importantly, call the police and report this now. I'm glad that he's got two people looking out for him, and I wish you all the best. This is a great advice. Thank you. It didn't even cross my mind to take some of the precautions you mentioned. Not at A-Hall. He's 18 soon. From that moment, he is free to make his own decisions. I'm glad he has you in his life, but taking on the care of a teenager is very hard. I believe it is, but I'm committed to doing what's best for Pete. He has had it hard already. After reading your comments, I have to chime in. Do not wait to withdraw his money. Just because parents never touched his money doesn't mean they wouldn't do it in the future. They still have 14 days to steal it. As soon as Pete is legal, open a new account at another bank. Do not choose a bank where your parents have an account. There are enough helpful people in the banking business who would help your parents gain access to his account. Otherwise, top comment already said everything you should. I really don't want to wait, believe me, but it seems like there's no other option. Pete has a limit on his card to how much money he can transfer in 24 hours, so he's unable to empty his account all at once. He'll be able to separate his account from parents once he turns 18. Tomorrow, we'll be calling a bank to find out if there's a possibility to secure his money in any way. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for asking my daughter if she was imagining her symptoms? 2 years ago, my ex-wife and I were going through a divorce that was made tough by the fact that our son, then 15, was dying of a brain tumor. I noticed that my daughter, 16 female, has started eating a lot more during that time, always very late at night, but I was too occupied with dealing with my soon-to-be ex always yelling at me, saying I wasn't doing enough to be there for her emotionally, accusing me of abandonment and withholding affection from me, to realize that my daughter was also going to the bathroom to throw the food she ate up. After the dust from the divorce cleared up, I found out about my daughter's bulimia from my ex-wife. My daughter told me she felt like her mind at times compels her to feel like she needs more and more food. After the talk and time had passed with my daughter adjusting to her new normal, I thought that she wasn't throwing up anymore. However, in the past few months, my daughter had admitted to feeling stressed because her mother was crying every day because they were approaching what would have been her brother's 18th birthday. My ex has also been stressed about her underwater mortgage. Yesterday, my fiancé and I had driven up to her vacation home for our planned Valentine's Day staycation. I get a call from my ex-wife saying that my daughter has been suffering from heart palpitations and was feeling faint, so she was admitted to the hospital. A few hours later, my daughter called and talked to me about her symptoms over the phone, saying she felt she was having a heart attack and said that she had started binging and purging again recently. A lot of the symptoms she was talking about I thought could have also been caused by an uptick in negative emotions. My daughter was bulimic before the past couple of months, and she herself said a lot of her physical needs came from her mind first. My daughter then asked if I could come see her soon, and I reminded that I had planned this with my fiancé for a while now. My daughter sounded upset and said she really wanted me here, and I was suspicious that she subconsciously wanted to sabotage any plans I had because she was in an emotional roller coaster over her late brother's upcoming 18th birthday. I asked my daughter if she by any chance was imagining all her symptoms. I reminded her that she had admitted to needing to eat before realizing it was all in her head, and asked if this was another stunt her mind was pulling. My daughter got mad and said she literally nearly fainted and said she couldn't believe I thought she was faking. She then hung up on me. Later, my ex-wife said hospital recommended her to a bulimia treatment program, and doctors said she risked a cardiac arrest if she continued her habits. Am I the a-hole for being suspicious that my daughter was just jealous of my current happiness and trying to get attention for it? From the literature on eating disorders, I saw part of it was about attention. You refuse to believe your minor daughter said she was feeling ill, who has a diagnosed eating disorder. And when doctors did confirm she was risking cardiac arrest, you were asking if you were the a-hole? That you think it has to do with your happiness? Yes, you're the a-hole. Eating disorders are the most deadly mental illnesses. due to the heart problems that they cause. And Opie asked if she was imagining her symptoms. Unbelievable. Opie, you're the a-hole. It's nice that the impending anniversary for your son's death did nothing to interfere with your romantic weekend getaway and also being there for your fragile daughter. You're the a-hole. This is where I couldn't believe Opie didn't even think about his son. How does that not affect him too? You're the a-hole. Big time. I would get banned if I said what I wanted to. Hope you enjoy a fake holiday while your child suffers in a hospital. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Am I the a-hole for calling my brother's girlfriend disgusting and refusing to meet her? Alright, I feel like I'm going mad here. I, 27 female, recently had a very unpleasant encounter with my brother's 32 male new girlfriend, 21 female, that has culminated in the family getting dragged into it. We'll call her Anne. He's been with Anne for about 5 months, but I've never met her for various reasons from both of our ends. He said he wanted to get to know her properly before introducing her to us all, and I made a crack along the lines of, yeah, well, 12 years old are known to be unpredictable, which made him sulk for a while too. I probably shouldn't have said that, but the age gap is weird to me. I met up with him a few weeks ago for coffee because we don't have restrictions anymore. The topic of Anne came up briefly, but he just said they were still together and he liked her. So I was coming around to the idea that maybe I should stop being a judgmental a-hole and just meet her. After, I went back to my car to grab my plastic bags and then back into town. For clarity, it's a small town center with a dedicated car park, so it's all in one place. After about an hour, I came back to my car and it was messed up. It had been scratched and a drink thrown over it. But the worst thing was someone had smeared blood in my driver door and literally shoved a used feminine hygiene product in the door handle. It was revolting. I had to go back and buy rubber gloves and bleach just to get back into my car. I got home and I got a text from my brother. He said Anne had confronted him when he got home after his cheating, and she thought I was the other woman and had vandalized my car. He said she was really upset and wanted to apologize to me in person and give me flowers. I said that even if I had been some other woman, that what she did was disgusting, and she was nuts. I said I never wanted to meet her and I expected payment for cleaning and damages. For the last 2 weeks, it's been this revolving door of my family calling me and telling me to let her apologize, me letting them know exactly what she did, and them mostly agreeing with me in the end. Then I'd get messages from my brother telling me to stop telling people what happened, because it was embarrassing Anne. I have some aunts who are mad at me for even telling them, make it make sense, and her family are of course livid with me, not to mention my brother. It's just so much noise in my head that I'm starting to think I should just drop it, because I have repaired the damage and had it cleaned. I've sent my brother the bill but not gotten anything from him yet, because he says I've done emotional damage to Anne. I think it was emotional damaging to have to see what she did to my car, but in the off chance that I've gone mad and I'm overreacting, tell me, am I the a-hole for calling my brother's girlfriend disgusting and never wanting to meet her because of what she did to my car? Now for the top comments. She attacked you, and you somehow emotionally damaged her? Tell him he is disgusting. It was very emotionally damaging to Anne that I told people how she emotionally damaged me by making my car a biohazard. Yes. Have you brought up the fact that you can press charges for this? Or that you didn't explain what happened to people until after your brother and Anne told them how unforgiving you are? Not stay home. She vandalized your car in a particularly nasty way. None of that is mitigated by her thinking your brother was cheating. That was just crazy and hinged behavior. You're not interested in meeting a crazy and hinged person, which is fair. This is what I've tried to communicate to him. Even if he was cheating, what she did still wouldn't have been okay. Not only are you not the a-hole, but your initial joke about 12-year-olds was spot on with regard to Anne. What a disaster of a human. Not the a-hole. The age gap is weird as hell and she sounds freaking disgusting. The used tampon is repulsive, and the fact your brother stayed with her after all this says a lot about him. Is he gross also? He's not gross. I mean, hygienically speaking. It baffles me as well. I can't even imagine the logistics of how she yanked it out in the middle of the car park. She just seems unstable, among other words. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to show my brother and his soon-to-be wife what my girlfriend has chosen to wear at their wedding? My male 30 brother, male 32, and his fiancée, female 26, are getting married at the end of the month. My girlfriend, female 32, is my +1. We've been together for 6 months, and she's great. Yesterday, I was at my brother's to help him set up new shelves in the kitchen. That's when he told me his fiancée had a request. The fiancée asked me what my girlfriend is planning to wear on the wedding, because, honestly, she dresses provocatively and she might wear something inappropriate. She asked me if it was okay that we showed her, the bride, my girlfriend's outfit for approval. I'm aware about weddings demanding a certain dress code and that there's a lot of rules involved, but I was a bit shocked about her request. I thought it to be a bit disrespectful, to be honest. My girlfriend is a very beautiful woman who loves fashion. I haven't noticed that she's ever been inappropriate. Maybe she likes the mini dress and a low back occasionally, but it has been in the right environment, like on a night out or a date with me. Otherwise, she's very modest, barely wears makeup. Plus, she knows fashion and she's probably aware of the rules of weddings. I didn't feel the bride's request was okay, so I told her no way that I'm going to ask my girlfriend that. The bride got a bit sulky and didn't talk much to me the rest of the evening. I went to my girlfriend afterwards for dinner, and while we were preparing, we started talking about the wedding. I asked her if she had bought something for the wedding, and she said she didn't have to. She had a lot of dresses, and she already chosen one. Show me, and she did. She's chosen an olive green midi dress with high collar. It was perfect. I texted my brother and soon-to-be wife that the dress was modest, so they could chill. This morning, the bride called me asking me to send her a picture of the dress. Huh? What are you still on about? No, I saw the dress. It's perfect. You should take my word for it. She was raging mad, crying that I'm trying to ruin her wedding. Are you going to ask all 150 guests to send you pictures of their outfits for approval? No, only your girlfriend likes wearing sluttish outfits. I hung up. I texted my brother that my girlfriend didn't need to come to the wedding since the relationship was new. And when they sent the save dates, I was still single, so it just said +1. He texted me back saying I'm a prick. Soon-to-be sister-in-law also texted me calling me a prick. Here's where I might have been an a-hole. I could have just sent a picture to calm them down, but I didn't, because what they're asking is a bit hurtful. And even if I did it behind girlfriend's back to avoid hurting her feelings, it's still disrespectful to sneak around. They should have just trusted my judgment. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. I was asked to include this in my post. My girlfriend wore a very revealing dress on my 30th birthday. That was the first and only time a sister-in-law and my girlfriend met. It was a designer dress, Miu Miu, that cost $4,000 that my girlfriend could borrow from one of her stylist friends. She was so happy because she would never afford a dress like that. And honestly, I was happy for totally different reasons I will keep to myself. That dress is probably the start of this scrap storm. I still can't understand a bride since these are two very different occasions. Not stay home. You did right. As a woman, I would be very offended if someone took a picture of my outfit like that and approved it behind my back. You respected your girlfriend's privacy while attempting to defuse the situation with a bride-to-be. It's not your fault that they disagree. I think the only thing the bride could have asked would be what color the dress is, or if she doesn't want the usual no-no colors, white, off-whites, and black. I agree. Making sure the dress wasn't white or something similar I think would be appropriate. Hope he did his girlfriend a solid. I'm glad he appreciates her for her. Oops, bride is jealous of your girlfriend's beauty. Sounds like she's insecure. Should she be getting married? Not stay home. Not stay home, but you should have had a conversation with your brother, asking why she has such low self-esteem that she needs to ask you that. And you were right to call her out on her behavior. She's being a bridezilla. Next story. Am I the a-hole for getting mad when my soon-to-be husband want to change our honeymoon to family vacation? My boyfriend 33 and I 22 will get married in 4 months. We're planning our wedding ourselves and discussed everything including our honeymoon. The first few months ago, he said he wanted to change our honeymoon to family vacation so his parents and my mom can get along and knew each other more. I agreed, so we were researching where to go and for how long. But a few weeks after that, he said he doesn't want to bring his family because his relationship with them is kinda rough. I agreed again and researching again honeymoon plan for just the two of us. Everything went fine until a few days ago I was shopping with my soon-to-be mother-in-law. And on the ride home, my boyfriend asked her if she wants to join our honeymoon. I was shocked and mad, but I stayed silent. After we drop off her mom, I asked him how if my mom doesn't want to go with us. My mom really said she doesn't want to. And he said it's okay and we can just go with his family. It really bothered me, but because we have planned to meet his friend after, I just keep it to myself to not ruin the mood. After I went home, I texted him said that I'm mad about that sudden change and ranted a bit, as usual every time I'm angry. Then he gets mad as well because he thinks I'm making a big deal of not so important thing. In the end, we both get mad and giving each other silent treatment until now. I'm not mad because he changed the plan, I'm mad because he didn't tell me first before asking his mom. I still think I have the right to get mad, but also feeling guilty for making fuss about something small. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments before reading the little update. Not the a-hole, but did not marry this man. You are too young and the age gap is too big. Worse than that though, he does not respect you and would happily put his family's desires above yours even in the context of a wedding, which should be entirely about the two of you. If he will do this now, what else might he prioritize you in? Think about this carefully. Look at Opie's previous post about relationship problems with a guy for Pete's sake. In that post made 6 months ago, she admits there are age gap related issues, as well as enough relationship issues for her to potentially consider him an ex. She admits that maybe they shouldn't be together but have talked about marriage in the past. All it seems is he might have noticed she was realizing he isn't good for her. He instead proposes and now she feels probably more confused than ever. Opie, there are reasons guys who are in their 30s date women in their early 20s. It is because they are still very malleable to the whims of their partner and tend not to have enough relationship experience to be able to tell what red flag behavior is, manipulation and mistreatment, or feel confident enough to stand up for themselves and know they shouldn't be treated that way. You knew 6 months ago it should be over. Do not marry this guy. He clearly doesn't value you the way he should. Not stay home. I would be more mad about him constantly changing the plan and not consulting you. It's just so annoying. And if I'm being honest, a bit of a red flag. He's forcing you into situations that you don't want to be in, taking advantage of the fact that you can't make a scene in public. Yes, it's annoying. It is not the first time he did it. It happens also to things like the rings at a pre-wedding photo shoot. I usually just accept it and going with whatever he's happy about. He's a really nice man, I promised. It's just some of his flaws. I just feel kinda a-hole as I know there is a better way to discuss it with him and not get mad and ranting. Not a-hole. Why does he think he gets to decide this alone? Maybe the same reason he can't find someone his own age to marry. He needs someone younger to boss around. He is too old for you. GTFO. Source. Have been 22, have also been 33. Update. Hi everyone. I don't expect this is gonna blow up and have so many comments. Thank you for your concern and advice. I appreciate it so much. And I'm sorry I can't read and reply to everyone's comments. For everyone who's asking, I met my boyfriend when I'm already 20. So no, I'm not being groomed. But thank you for your concern. For everyone who's reminding me that what he's doing is red flag, yes, I know it sounds so bad. But I think everyone on a relationship know there's a lot of crap that if you tell everyone just from your perspective, it will sound really bad. It's just one of many things in a relationship, I guess. He's not perfect and neither am I. I also know my relationship isn't perfect nor ideal, but we love each other and we will keep working on from there. Now, I know I'm not a-hole for getting mad, so I'll talk to him again with more confidence and wish we can make up and be better. Once again, thank you for all the kind and not so kind advice. Wishing you all have a really nice day. Last story. Am I the a-hole for upstaging my grandma at her wedding? I'm 28 female, maternal grandma 71 female. This past weekend, she got married to her boyfriend of a couple years. This is her 5th wedding, which I mentioned not to judge but because it's relevant later on. The last time she got married, I was a junior in high school and wore a cranberry strapless dress that my grandma purchased for me, very much in line with the cocktail dress code. I didn't try to do this, but in hindsight, I wore makeup that was too much for a wedding. I just wore what I would normally do, toned down smoky eye, eyeliner, and a nude lip. One of the granddaughters of the husband she was marrying then pulled me aside and told me I did too much and that I should wipe the makeup off before the photos. I was extremely embarrassed. The only other wedding I had ever been to was when I was 6, so at the time I had no idea of the etiquette and was mortified that I had broken it. I ended up wiping off the eyeliner, replacing the eyeshadow with a nude eyeshadow, and putting on a clear chapstick. For this wedding, my grandma reminded me that I should do a very toned-down look and not upstage her at his wedding. These days, I don't wear nearly as much makeup as I used to, so I went with my daily makeup routine. BB cream and a light concealer, a nude cream blush, some light mascara that was dark brown instead of black, and a sheer/glossy pinky nude lipstick. I paired this with a navy blue dress that I tried my best to match my grandma's request that the dress code is in between casual and cocktail. My grandma didn't say anything about how I looked during the wedding, nor did anyone else, so I assumed I did a good job of making sure she was still on the spotlight. However, today she got some of the photos back from her friend who was taking them. She said that I was the standout in all of the photos, and it was a very tacky move to try to get all of the attention on me when it was her wedding. I apologized and said I tried to be as toned down as possible while still looking presentable. She said a right move would have been to wear no makeup at all and wear a more conservative pantsuit. At the time that I got this call, I was with my paternal grandmother. They do not get along the slightest. Paternal grandma told maternal grandma that it was unreasonable to expect me to dress frumpy to please her, and that she had 3 sets of wedding photos for weddings before I was even born, that she could look back on to be the star of the show if she wanted. This led to maternal grandma telling me she wished to take a break from speaking to me for a while, so I could reflect on my selfish actions. I feel really bad. I didn't mean to wreck a special day for her, and in hindsight, maybe I should have approved my dress and makeup with her before the wedding. So I thought I'd get some feedback here to see if I'm the a-hole / if what I did is selfish. Not the a-hole for either of her weddings. You do not owe her an apology. You did nothing wrong. She's ridiculous. It's not dissimilar to people who tear others down to feel better about themselves. That's essentially what she wants to do to her friends. Direct them to be lesser so she feels better about herself. Not on. Sounds like maternal grandma is jealous of how youthful and pretty Opie is. Not a-hole. Not a-hole. A woman in their 20s wearing no makeup and a burlap sack would upstage a 70-year-old. There is no way to avoid it. She can get over herself. Yep, I'm reading this thinking Granny is mad that Opie exists. In a conservative pantsuit with no makeup? Per request. A 20-something woman is going to outshine any 70-year-old women, except probably Oprah and Madonna. But we can't be sure because they're not 70 yet. OP, please info. Do you happen to resemble your grandma when she was younger? I actually think I look nothing like this grandma. I look like the spitting image of my paternal grandma and her mom though. It's almost uncanny. If I felt more comfortable sharing photos, I would.